Black Clover is known as one of those series that when you watch reviews or critiques of it, that you can tell that that person either didn't really watch it, didn't really pay attention, they were maybe talking to somebody while watching it, or playing video games while watching it, or even just being on their phone and watching it, because some of the critiques are just flat out wrong. I've gone over this in some videos, and I have some videos planned maybe in the future, if I ever get to it, because they're really on the bottom of my totem pole to get done. But I thought it'd be interesting to go through to Goodreads, which is an app where people review and rate books, and Black Clover is on there. And I wanted to go look at 1-star reviews and see what people have said about the Black Clover manga. Now, why I wanted to go on here is because it is different than Twitter. A lot of people on Twitter will just react to tweets they have seen about Black Clover and may have not actually read it themselves, whereas these are people actually going to Goodreads and specifically writing a review about it, and you can cycle through and look at the different starred reviews. So I've gone through the multiple 1-star reviews, which it's still pretty rare, as Black Clover I believe is at a 4.3 out of 5 with thousands and thousands of reviews. So the 1-star reviews are pretty rare. So first 1-star review. A tiresome, forgettable repetition of a common anime/manga trope. The loud, annoying, reckless, hyperactive, rather stupid underdog plans to become the world's best whatever, despite being completely useless at whatever-ing, and somehow inexplicably succeeds through sheer not knowing when to quit. In this case, an annoying, hyperactive orphan in a world where everyone has magic powers plans to become the Wizard King despite having 0 magic powers. If he somehow managed to get ahead using wits or inventiveness, or to be valued for some redeeming quality like great compassion or leadership skills that won him a following despite his handicap, I could go along with it. But no, he somehow squeaks by on stubbornness and pure dumb luck, despite being stupid and abrasive, and everybody marvels over how this idiot is an inspiration. For some reason, everyone in anime/manga loves the stupid, loud, abrasive kid, even if he has no positive qualities to balance that out, and my suspension of disbelief just doesn't go that far. Naruto, the classic example, was a bit of an idiot, but at least he worked hard with what he had and demonstrated a good sense of empathy. Black Clover's protagonist is just the personification of annoying. Also with the obligatory best at everything rival/friend, in case you thought something was missing with this formula. Also with the obligatory crush on a girl who is not interested in him, plus this time she's a nun, but I won't give up. She's a nun, you moron. There's persistence, and then there's sheer idiocy. So, let's go over why this is just not a great critique. Now, I'm not saying this person is wrong in saying it's a 1-star. Maybe they hate it, but let's go over some of the things just are kind of wrong and construed improperly. He's acting like Asta, just through sheer dumb luck, got the 5-leaf Clover Grimoire, which is the Grimoire of the anti-magic swords. That was not sheer dumb luck. We look at it in that way. So what did Asta do? He's acting like Asta's dumb because he wanted to become the Wizard King despite having no magic. We have to remember here, this is the first case that is known of a kid being born without magic in the Black Clover world. That is why Sister Lily, who essentially knows Teresa, so she has likely and at least above average knowledge of magic in Black Clover, she said that once Asta gets a grimoire, his magic power will be awakened, because it's probably just so small that they can't even sense it. But with a grimoire, it'll be there. That is the knowledge Asta's going off of when he's training for 10 years before chapter 1 of Black Clover. He is training for 10 plus years, training with Yuno, and his physical strength, speed, stamina, all of that, with the assumption that he will get his magic when he gets his grimoire. So it's not just stubbornness that he's training with an expectation that, oh, I don't have magic right now, or either I have it, it's so small, but it's useless until I get a grimoire. So what I'm going to do is work hard and train my entire life so that when it does come, I'm ready. Which is not like Naruto, which he brings up in this review, where he says, yes, Naruto was a bit of an idiot, but he demonstrated a good sense of empathy, and he worked hard. Yes, Naruto worked hard, But can we say that he worked harder than Asta? Asta, who from 5 to 15, which is what we know a lot about his backstory before the first chapter of Black Clover, helped the church, helped the community, and worked for 10 years to get stronger. Naruto, really not so much, and actually went against his village and did graffiti on like sacred statues. So to really compare Asta and Naruto, besides maybe like them being loud and stuff like that, not really a great comparison at all. Also, he compares Yuno to the obligatory handsome, best at everything rival. You can actually very clearly tell from the beginning, and from now on, ever since the beginning of Black Clover, this is done differently. This is not the typical Naruto Sasuke, Goku Vegeta, or Deku Bakugo. Asta and Yuno are orphan brothers. They both are wanting to become the Wizard King, and Yuno was inspired by Asta, and they both see each other and respect each other. They both believe in each other. They both bring each other up. They have a brotherly, healthy rivalry compared to other shonen rivalries. Their rivalry is just not even comparable to the vast majority of other shonen. And that's where you can really see at just these 2 points in his critique that they really did not pay attention to while reading the manga, or were severely biased while reading it. Because Asta worked his ass off and earned the Grimoire of Anti-Magic. And if you actually paid attention to the series, you'd know that the reason why people see Asta as an inspiration is because he never had magic. And when he gets the anti-magic sword, it's literally shown in the manga. It gives him anti-magic in his slices of the sword, but it slows him down actively. That's why he even needed the Demon Dweller sword. He had to move with his own pure physical strength and speed against magic users who were aided by a supernatural energy. That's the inspiration, that he never gave up, that he worked so hard for so long, that the point where he's as fast or faster than many magic users. But again, this person just really did not pay attention to the manga. We'll get into the next 1-star review. What the heck is wrong with this manga? It's not only a typical shonen manga with absolutely nothing new, but also the characters are so shallow, not well developed at all. It feels so unoriginal. Maybe the author is a fan of Naruto, Bleach, Fairy Tail, maybe more, so he just decided to make something in the same style and didn't do so well. I read the available 129 chapters, the stars just for being a magic-related story. Again, this is not only a typical shonen manga with nothing new, when even though one of the biggest things of the entire manga is Asta and Yuno's rivalry, and that's done differently than nearly every other shonen manga. Is Asta and Yuno's type of rivalry completely original? I would say no. I don't really know, or can't think of one off the top of my head where a different manga with a similar rivalry, but I would assume it's happened before. But we already know, guys, that is not the case for almost any other battle shonen manga. And then, of course, they bring up, this is a Naruto, Bleach, Fairy Tail clone, and maybe more. That's what they bring up. I've already talked about this in multiple videos, but you can't say this is a copy of Naruto, Bleach, Fairy Tail, and more, and then act like it is a copy of all of them. It can't be. If you took a story and you took heavy inspiration from Naruto, then Bleach, then Fairy Tail, and more series, you would have a completely original story. This is a very short review, so I think I'm just going to move on to the next one. This is another 1-star review, and another review where this person did not pay attention. Boring, predictable, noisy. It's like a bunch of cliches together in one single tome. It has an appealing world and interesting ideas on it, I won't deny it, but the plot doesn't seem to be interesting enough. Asta, seems like this person was reading the unofficials. It's just your regular hidden, overpowered pariah kind of character. He doesn't have any magic in a magical world, while his twin brother, is a living marvel and promising sorcerer, so he's bullied by everyone who knows him. Yet there is a mysterious and incredible power inside of him that will obviously take him to the top of the world and prove everyone wrong. Sorry, not sorry, I'm going to pass on this one. Alright, so, again, Asta is your regular, hidden, overpowered pariah kind of character. This has never been the case in Black Clover. Even now, Asta is just getting bodied with his devil union. Asta has had to work so hard in Black Clover to just never even really be the strongest. And he usually has help. Especially this guy's only talking about the beginning of Black Clover that he read. When was Asta ever overpowered? He never was. He always had help. That's one of the biggest reasons why people love Black Clover in the beginning, is the teamwork in Black Clover was like second to none for other battle shonen series. And again, this person shows that they didn't really pay attention. Yet there's a mysterious and incredible power inside of him that'll obviously take him to the top of the world and prove everyone wrong. The power is not inside of him. He earned and built his own power through his sheer hard work, and that power, his physical strength, earned him the 5-leaf Clover Grimoire. That power, the mysterious power, is stored inside of that grimoire, not inside of him. Another short review, I'll move on to the next one. The story begins with a boy trying to seduce a nun really forcefully. Right off the bat, we got pedophilic, anti-Christian deviant. Said boy begins as someone with no superpowers in a world where everyone can use magic. Unlike My Hero Academia, which begins in a similar way, Asta doing nothing to gain the reader's sympathy. He's an obnoxious loudmouth with no redeeming qualities. He had the chance to stand out by training in martial arts instead of relying on magic, but nah, he still relies on magic to have his way. Oh my god! Like, I had to stop there from reading this, because we all know that is BS. This person did not read the manga, or they were incredibly high or drunk while reading it. Anyways, so he goes to a school, as if we don't have enough of those already, where he fails the exams because, duh, he can't use magic. What? If you think he will face the truth and deal with life not being fair, out of nowhere he's given a magical book with a sword that cancels magic. Yeah, it's another one of those stories that give the ultimate power to losers just for the sake of bottom-tier empowerment fantasy. The writer goes as far as making the bad guys to behave as one-dimensionally evil as possible, just for making the obnoxious protagonist to seem better in comparison. Yes, they make the bad guys so cartoonish, even a nun rapist seems heroic before them. Wow. When has Asta gone to school? What is this guy reading? This guy is reading White Clover. He put the wrong review on here. He says that Asta goes to school and fails the exams, and then he gets the grimoire, which is, if he's thinking the exams or getting the Magic Knights, that was after he got the grimoire. What is this guy reading? This guy's high. This guy is tripping. And of course, they say out of nowhere, Asta's given the grimoire, even though they were at the grimoire tower where he was expected to get a grimoire because he's 15 years old and it's the springtime. So, yeah, this is of course wrong. And then of course, even more wrong, that he's given the ultimate power and that he's overpowered because this is an empowerment fantasy. Even though Asta is never that strong until the series goes on and he has to train and get ki and train with his anti-magic, get physically stronger, get his black form. And now, next paragraph. Asta has a rival, like El Shonen do. Only this one gives no reason for the rivalry to exist. Yuno grew up with Asta as if they were brothers. They are so friendly with each other, you see no rivalry. Furthermore, a typical shonen rival is always far more talented and stronger than the shonen protagonist. Yuno, despite being gifted with a lot of magic, had to be saved twice by Asta in 2 chapters. He instantly fails to be a hard obstacle for the hero to overcome. How is this a critique? In one paragraph, he's talking about how this is just a typical empowerment fantasy. Then he goes to say that Yuno, as his rival, is bad because he's not way stronger. Yuno is not the obstacle for Asta to overcome. The obstacle is for him to overcome the prejudiced society of the Clover Kingdom and become the power and respect of the Wizard King so he can become the Wizard King. It is not to overcome Yuno. They are rivals that both propel each other to that same goal, but he's not the pillar to overcome. Next paragraph. The plot is as generic as it gets. Naruto wants to take part in the Hunter exam so he can be chosen by Shinigami captain to enter the Fairy Tail Guild so he can become the Pirate King. I've seen this crap 100 times and I got sick of it. It doesn't help me care when Asta is picked up by the bulls just because of his attitude instead of his complete lack of talent. It's like hiring the guy who directed and played in The Room just because he has guts. Again, wrong. Okay. Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, Fairy Tail, and One Piece were all mentioned as if this is all copying, but guys, this goes back to so many years of other manga and other stories hundreds of years ago. It's just a trope, not a cliche. There's nothing wrong with the trope. And Asta was not picked up because he had no talent. Completely wrong. And this is going against his old comment where he says that Yuno is talented, but Asta's already overcome him, so there's no obstacle. But if Asta's already at Yuno's level, then that would mean that Asta has talent. So he's wrong here. And remember, Asta wasn't not picked because of anything else. It's because he was a mystery. He was a dark horse. He had no magic. Yami liked that, and also, in the most important aspect of the exam, Asta defeated Seke, who was stated to be a powerful mage. And he did it easily. Final paragraph, and this will be the last paragraph of the reviews. Anyways, Asta goes to the guild, Magic Knight Brigade, where we are introduced by the support characters, and oh my god, are they annoying. They all have one-trait personalities and are defined by one gag, which they often repeat as often as they can to point you want to throw away the manga. They're supposed to be more fleshed out once they join Asta in the various missions later on, but there's very little to care about when you constantly see them pulling new powers out of their ass just because they suffer typical protection syndrome of shonen manga. The battles lose their impact because of magic convenience, but always triggers when their nakama are in danger. It's all too predictable and not much thought were placed behind the battle choreography, leaving you uninterested for what is to come. Okay, well, this just proves that he is talking about powers he's never read. Because, look at this, guys. They are supposed to be more fleshed out once they join Asta in the various missions. So he's saying they are supposed to. And then he talks about how they get new powers. That means that what this person did is they read the beginning of Black Clover, and then made review based on tweets of future power-ups from Asta's allies. Because, as we know, there are no ass pulls in Black Clover. All of the power-ups from the Black Bulls are foreshadowed. Usually there's a lot of foreshadowing, like with Charmy or Luck as well. They're never ass pulls. There's always foreshadowing for it. So this just showed that they just saw tweets. They probably just went on Twitter, saw Magna using the Soul Chain Deathmatch. I saw Luck using Ultimate Magic, stuff like that, or other power-ups, and they just like, oh, well, that was an ass pull. That just came out of their ass. So, yeah, this is probably the worst review of the bunch, and yeah, this was just pretty bad, and just an inconsistent review to himself, to like the person who wrote it themselves. They said that, they said that Asta had no talents, even though he was more talented than the talented Yuno. That's just how hypocritical the review was. So that is it for this video, reacting to 1-star reviews. These are pretty long, so I didn't get to go through too much. I actually had several more that I found, but it would just make the video too long. But let me know your thoughts of this video down below. Would you like me to do more of these? There's more 1-star reviews, but a lot more 2-star reviews, so maybe I have to do a mixture of 1 and 2-star reviews if you wanted a part 2 to this, but let me know your thoughts down below. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...